And today we would normally be doing the RTS video, except from really recently I've noticed that in the episodes we're not actually getting much work done whatsoever, and that's mainly due to the fact that none of it's prepared at all. It's all kind of done on the fly, and in 10 minutes of stuff that's not prepared, nothing really gets done. So what I'm planning on doing with that is not abandoning it, but leaving it for a little bit until I've got the time to plan out those episodes fully, so we get the most out of the 10 minutes. Until then, in this little Tuesday thing, for about however long it takes, few episodes, we're going to be rebuilding a project that I made and I actually really enjoy. That didn't take me too long, so it won't be a very long series, but one where is a mouse pointer, and I'll just show you quickly what it is. Here. So you've got a player here, you can move it around, relatively simple, and you probably already noticed that there's an arrow, and the arrow points towards the mouse cursor, and if you get further away it gets larger, and that's what we're going to be working on. It might not seem incredibly interesting, and in this case it looks kind of ugly because I'm not very good at artwork, but in some games such as Hyper Light Drifter it works really well and it is really effective, and that's kind of built on the same system that this is. There's no real differences between the two, apart from I've chosen to use an arrow just for testing sake. Another thing I've added, we probably won't do this, but you can do, it's an option, is projectiles. So the further back it is, the more power there is in it. You can see there. And that's something you can do. I'll just show you quickly. In fact, I think it's in here. No, that's the movement. Yeah, let you create an instance of a projectile, and then here it is. All you're doing is you're adding an impulse, and the impulse is based off the distance. So if there's a greater distance, then there's a greater impulse. It's pretty simple. Obviously there's some things here as well, we'll go into that possibly. The thing that we're going to be more focused on is this stuff here. Now this is some long math stuff that I worked out. It's not incredibly complicated, but it took me quite a while to figure out. Now obviously I'll talk through it when we actually do get onto it, but switching over to the other GameMaker, so we're on GameMaker 2 now. There'll be a few changes. So obviously it isn't a straight port over. I could just import it in and GameMaker would do it all for me and that would be fine, but what I want to do is show you guys how to do it, so not necessarily just me writing it down and there we go. I'm going to be showing in this example, but also writing in this example and showing how I built it and how I actually got to it. And I did actually have some papers with some algebra stuff written on it as well, because I started getting really confused by it. But what I've got is a player, which is effectively a blue box. There's nothing really else to it. You could make a player, you could make whatever you want to here. It's just going to be whatever's in the center. The important bit is that the origin is in the middle. It can be any size, it can be any shape, it doesn't really matter. Then I've got an arrow. Again, this could be literally anything. I need to check though on this one. So it needs to be at the top center. There we go, top center. We also need to sort that out. That is not right. We need to drag that over a little bit. Yep, that's better. So whatever you do with this, make sure it's in line with the center, effectively. Or it can be whatever you want, but just think in how it's going to draw and everything, how it's going to look. So that is pretty much the sprites covered. We're going to of course make a couple of objects. object player using the sprite player. We can leave that fine. And then we're going to make another object called object mouse. Now this is not going to have a sprite, and this is the one that controls literally everything. As you can see here, create, step, global press, draw, pretty much everything. We're not going to make a projectile, we're leaving that, and center is just our player. We could probably, yeah, we've got time to do the player. Let's just cover that quickly, because what we want to do is make sure that our system is able to work with movement, because a lot of the games that you would use this in involve lots of movement. For example, Hyperlight Drifter. I'm going to keep referring back to that because that's very much what this is about. But yeah, we're going to use switch. Now again, I've probably shown this before on this channel, but if you go on switch and you press your mouse scroll in on it, the help comes up, and switch. Oh, that's only in the old version. Nope, there it is. And you can actually cheat a little bit. So this, if you copy it, is movement. Really simple movement, but at no expense. That took me like half a minute. And if we run it, we should be able to see that we didn't make a room, or we didn't make an object. That is important. We're gonna add both these objects in. Only one of them will do anything at the moment though. And there we go, simple movement added in. We're also going to need to change that room color, because that's going to be a nuisance. Color there. I'll make it, I don't really want it white. Okay, that'll do. And there you go, that is the setup for the mouse pointer. So we've got a couple of sprites, a couple of objects, and one room. That's all it takes. The code itself isn't incredibly long, but I'm going to be doing my best to go in and explain this as much as possible, so it's very much a beginner's tutorial. I'm also possibly go through the math behind it as well, just because it helps explain it a little bit more. But other than that, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you like the video, remember to like, subscribe, what do you guys want to do, and I'll talk to you in the next one.